Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today we're going to be talking about the Witness Protection Program and some of the things you didn't know about the program. Before we get started, make sure you guys hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. I appreciate everyone who takes the time to watch my show. So let's get into it, man. Today, we're talking about the Witsec program. And a lot of people have been through this program, from Sammy the Bull to John Francis. That's Michael Francis's brother. A lot of people. Valachi was the first person to really, well, we're going to go back to the beginning of this whole program and where it started. It started with this guy. He's the brainchild of the Witsec program. He ended up passing away. So we're going to get into what the Witsec program is all about. And some of the things you didn't know about the Witness Protection Program, because there's a lot of things that people don't know. So, the Witness Protection Program is used to provide protection for witnesses in criminal cases. But the Witness Protection Program is used to provide plastic surgery for witnesses too. To entice mobster Adelina to testify in late 70s trial, they paid for his wife's surgery, including breast implants, a facelift, and one unnamed participant suggested, now listen to this, it's hilarious. This dude, Jimmy Fratiano, got a penis implant from the Witness Protection Program. They paid for him to get a penile implant, not to disguise his identity, but he was depressed at the time and needed self-esteem boost in order to testify. As of the late 90s, it became a policy not to provide plastic surgery for witnesses. But it would help the witnesses get it. They would still help the witnesses get it. So this dude got a penile implant for his testimony. Now, a lot of questions that people ask. What's going on? What's going on, Mick? Yeah, you finally get out of Minneapolis? Yes, I did, man. Thank God. I got out just in time for all that snow. I am not, no. I'm good, man. No thanks. Salt, pepper, ketchup. What's good with you? Thank you for joining me today. So let's get into some of these stories. One of the first people to go on the Witness Protection Program, Mr. the Animal Barboza. Joe the Animal Barboza, number 4 on the list of most notorious hitmen. So he was in the Witness Protection Program for telling on a whole bunch of people, right? Trapping the Animal. Now, this is a Mob Museum article. Based on his years as a crazy hitman, street loan collector, an intimidator for Raymond Patriarcha, New England Mafia Joe the Animal Barboza should have recognized he might have been set up. And add to the fact that he has been an FBI informant and trial witness for years earlier. the person admitted into the witness protection program. But on February 11, 1976, Barboza, once assigned by the feds to live in Santa Rosa, California under the name Joe Donati, went to visit an old friend and mob associate, James Charles of San Francisco's Sleepy Sunset District. He'd been set up by Charles who earlier tipped off Patriarcha Jerry Angulo. So Angulo had him set up. Angulo sent Capo Regime, M.A. Ignano, and mob soldier Joseph Russo to watch for Barboza when he left the residence near the corner of the 25th Avenue and Morgra Street. As Barboza approached his parked car and pulled out his keys, a van rolled up fast. And they point blank range fired 4 shotgun blasts at him right through the open door, and they killed him. The 2 men responsible for the murder remain unknown to the FBI, but they listened to bug conversations. So what the FBI is saying is that their success rate with the witness protection program is 100%. But that's only if people listen to them. You know what I'm saying? If people listen to them and they don't ever go back to their old life or talk to people who they used to be involved with, then they won't have a problem. So now some of the questions that people have for people in the witness protection program. Can you tell other people you're in the witness protection program? It's difficult to know when people are witnesses or who stay in the program. And no, you can't go back to your old life. It says, can you leave the witness protection program? A witness who agrees to testify for the prosecution generally eligible to join the program, which is entirely voluntary. Witnesses are permitted to leave the program and return their old identities at any time, although it is discouraged by the administrators. So a lot of people, they're saying that no one ever found out like who the people are and then killed them. They always were killed after they exposed their identity to other people. So some of the facts about the Witness Protection Program. The Witness Protection Program is officially known as the Witness Security Program, or Witsec. Witsec is run not by the FBI, but by the U.S. Marshal Service. In 2013, Associate Director David Harlow explained, "No one knows what we do to protect witnesses, and it's good for us." The Witness Protection Program began as a result of Organized Crime Control Act of 1970. In part of the act said that the government would protect witnesses. At the time, members of the mafia were still known to kill witnesses in advance or of after testifying or before testifying. Their families will also be in danger. The Witsec program founder, Gerald Schur, the man's picture that I showed you earlier, Alright, Schur worked for the department at the time. He was the head of the security program around 25 years. He's instrumental in turning it into what it is today. He's also known how we know a lot of what is known about the mysterious program. He co-wrote the book Witsec, Inside the Federal Witness Protection Program. He died in 2020. Thousands of people have been moved as a part of the witness protection program over the years. Thousands of people. Between witnesses and their families, around 19,000 people have been moved thanks to the program. In 2012, a report cost keeping Witsec running is about $10 million a year. According to the government officials in charge of the program, Witsec has 100% success rate. That means that witnesses who remain in the program and follow all of its rules, more on that later on, but they have never been harmed as a result of testifying in any cases. There were a few protected witnesses before Witsec actually began. One of them is Joe Barboza. He is one of the first people to ever testify in these types of cases. That's him on the right. Joe Barboza, who was sort of an inspiration for the program, in 1963, Barboza turned in criminals. He knew as with his participation in the mafia in exchange for his safety in prison. The government officials realized offering protection was in effect a way to convince criminals and witnesses to come forward, and officially started the program around 1970. One early Witsec participant, Joe the Animal Barboza. He was a hitman from Boston. He killed tons of people. Kind of like somebody else we know named Sammy the Bull. Sammy the Bull was part of this program. He was able to kill 19 people and get away with it. And another thing about Mr. Sammy the Bullshitter. Sammy the Bullshitter just put up a new show on his Sammy the Bullshit and whatever. He's worried about the drug problem in the country. You weren't so worried about the drug problem when you were selling ecstasy. You were probably selling other drugs too. But here is the man of the hour testifying against other mobsters. He should be the poster boy of the program. So, Barboza, a murderer who testified against all his mob buddies in the late 60s, was sent to California with a new identity. Unfortunately, he was killed. He was shot because he gave up his location. He thought he was okay. That's what happens with these people. There are rules for entering the witness protection program. And here's a funny one. Here's what Jay-Z would look like if he entered the Witsec program. Here's Jay-Z if he would have. Robert, what's up, man? Shout out to you, bro. Thank you for joining me. Here's Jay-Z if he were to enter the witness protection program. So, all right, let's get into it. Are there rules? There are rules, but people are hoping to enter the witness protection program have to sign a list of rules. One of the rules is to pledge to, in his words, be a good person and live a normal life. And of course, it couldn't be put into the Witsec program unless being a witness in the particular case would have put them at risk. So they're only going to put you in there if you're at risk. One of the things that the witness protection program will experience in its The first thing that you'll experience in the orientation, uh, 6 families stay without coming into contact with each other. Family members go through medical, dental, psychological exams. Each adult is also interviewed about their job skills, and they can be placed in new locations with jobs that make sense for them. So in real life, lounge singers, uh, Deborah probably couldn't have been placed in a convent. I don't know what the hell that means. But anyway, witnesses also get a new name. But taking a new name is optional. They can keep their old names, their first old name. Like the first name, they can't keep the last name. Sometimes it's easier for a person to keep their first name. It's always answers they're called. They don't have to fully change their signature, but they can choose their new last name. uh, it must be unrelated to their lives. So the family members made them names and makes sense. Witnesses get new identity documents. They get new documents too, new driver's license, birth certificates, social security cards, legalized name change. Their kids get new school records. Crazy. And a big question people have is, do they get paid to do this? Some of the people get paid a lot of money. Sometimes they get substantial amounts of money to cooperate on certain cases. But the normal amount of money that they're paid is $60,000 a year. That's what it says here. It says how much do they get paid a year? It's around 60,000. Now, people leave the witness protection program, they don't have any more protection. Like, that's it for them. Once they leave, it's over. Their whole protection program is out the window. So they don't have any more protection once they leave the program. But the US Marshals run the program. It's not the FBI, but I'm sure it's a part of it. Another question is, how long does it last? The Witness Protection Program offers a program that's provided for life, as long as the witness does not commit a crime again. And the recidivism rate is around 17%. Some individuals state also offered witness protection on their own. So Barboza, remember we were talking about Barboza, right? He killed 26 men. Hold on, let me shut these notifications off so you guys don't gotta hear that. He killed 26 men. All right. Barboza is known to be the first man ever placed into the federal witness protection program. He reportedly killed 26 men in the 1960s before he was convicted by the FBI. Before he was convinced by the FBI to testify against ruthless New England mob boss Raymond Patriarca and others. Participation had been recruited uh, by the Attorney General. Wow, man, he committed 26 murders and they let him walk. Can you believe that shit? 26 murders. Sounds like someone we know. But this guy was ruthless and he thought that he could go back to his old life and everything was going to be okay. And that is not the case. Once you testify against people, they don't forget about that type of shit. They are not going to let you walk. It's not going to happen. So you're right. The price changes with inflation. Yeah, man, you never know. So Barboza, he's one of the first people to ever known to be part of this program. Who is classified as an intimidated witness? Intimidated witnesses are those who qualify to testify is likely to diminish by the reason of fear or distract at the prospect of giving evidence. Why are people placed in the witness protection program? For people for safety. And there's other countries who have witness protection programs too. Chapter 4, organized crime policy. They have it in the UK, I believe. New Zealand. New Zealand does not have appear. Purpose of scheme is to help witnesses who themselves become victims of the crime as a result of helping the police. So they do have a witness protection program. But a lot of times it's abused. A lot of times these people are getting money off it. Like one case in particular is Francis, John Francis, Sonny Francis's son, testified against his own father, went into the Witsec program, got a bunch of money, and then he left the program. So come on, man. He was using it. He was a drug addict. He was all strung out and he needed money. And that's where he got the money from. And I'm sure people do it all the time. Look at this guy. He went there just for plastic surgery. This guy had plastic surgery too. He looks the same. Schmiegel. He ain't changing. He still looks like a wet rat. Just like the rest of these guys. Bunch of wet rats. Good movie that has to do with witness protection program. The Sicilian Girl. I haven't seen it, man. I'll check it out. But there's a lot to go over with this whole witness protection program thing. But it's wild. So this is gonna be like part one, part two, part three. It's gonna be good. A miscarriage of justice. He knew back it happened while naming names for Massachusetts prosecutors. Barboza had been willing to pawn in one of the most shocking miscarriages of justice ever participated by the FBI, with full knowledge of the FBI director J. Edgar Hoover. In separate murder case, he lied under oath at the request of a corrupt FBI agent. Uh, on the stand in the state count against 6 defendants, all mob associates accused in the 1965 murder of a major league hood, Edward Teddy Deegan of the city of Chelsea outside Boston. State prosecutors based almost solely on Barboza's uncorroborated perjury testimony and unaware that the FBI's actions won convictions of 6 men in Deegan's murder, when none of the defendants, in fact, took part in the killing. So that's the type of stuff that happens in this program. They're telling false testimony to get people convicted, and then they go in this program and live a great life. It's insane. We're gonna have more on this. I have other interviews to do and stuff like that. So I'm gonna jump off here and I'll be back on later on. But I have an interview to do with somebody pretty big, and you guys will see that soon. I'm gonna drop an interview tonight with Ignacio Esteban. So stay tuned for that. And I want to give a rest in peace to Michael Bankston, man. Mike Bankston, I missed you a lot. It's been 6 years since you passed away, man. And Think about you all the time, bro. So shout out to you. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. There's a lot more stuff to come, man. Stay tuned. What's good, Gianni? How you doing, man? I'm just getting off here, but I'll be back on later. Stay tuned, man. Chatting with Staxx. Peace.